Welcome back to the Swang Low Podcast Show. It is yours truly, Do Rock Creek. What's happening with all my people out there in the free world today? It is an absolute pleasure to be back at this round table amongst my round table family. And I'm going to go ahead and jump right into this story. I don't want to hold y'all up too long. It's the weekend, so I'm going to let y'all get back to enjoying it as I enjoy it as well. Okay, now, this story take place in Sat F. Corcoran State Prison on the Sea Yard. Okay, and it involved this CO, right? This specific CO, and I'm not gonna say his name because he still actively work at the prison. You know what I'm saying? And I'm pretty sure he didn't went higher in rank. You know what I mean? Because right before I had left that prison, he had became a sergeant. Okay, now I'm gonna lead you up to him becoming a sergeant. Okay, now, in prison, you hear different names of COs. You know what I'm saying? You hear who is the extreme a-holes. Then you hear of the ones that's cool that'll work with you. You know what I'm saying? Now, with this particular guy, you always heard about him running down on people, finding stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, his mentality was like this. I'm not gonna mess with you if you don't do anything to make me want to come do my job. If you make me have to do my job, I'm gonna do my job and I don't have a problem with doing my job. Okay? That was his mentality. So he worked in one block. I was in three block. Okay. So we hearing all these different stories about this particular correctional officer, right? How he is turning the building upside down. But again, when he felt disrespected, for instance, if you inside your cell smoking weed, the smell is gonna travel outside your cell all throughout the building, and people that's coming in the building with a fresh smelling sense is definitely gonna pick up on some loud smelling weed. So just imagine you being a CO and you working in the building. Okay, you smelling it on one hand is one thing, but on the other hand, when his superiors is coming inside the building because they come in periodically throughout the day, you know what I'm saying? Especially like when they letting people out for the yard, or you know what I'm saying, when you going to work or whatever, the sergeants and lieutenants will pop up and stand around in there and watch everything. So if they come in and they smelling this weed, or you making wine, because people make wine too, moonshine, right? So if they smelling one of the two, that sergeant and lieutenant is gonna get on the CO that's working in that building. Like, y'all not doing your job. How is this smell so strong? Like they expect them to go turn everybody's cell upside down until they find the stuff that they smelling. So anyway, that was his pet peeve right there. You know what I'm saying? If I smell it first, I'm feeling disrespected and I'm finna come disrespect you, point blank, period. His thing was do it when I'm not here. Because if you do it while I'm here, I'm looking at it like you front me off because my superiors come in, smell this stuff. They going to come down on me, which means I'm going to have to come down on y'all. So before they even have the opportunity to come down on me, I'm going to come down on you. Only if you make me do it. This was his mentality. So we hearing all these stories about him in the other building. Bam. Fast forward. They move him to my building as a regular 5 day a week correctional officer, working on the floor. The floor is down ground level with us, not in the gun towers. So anyway, he come down there. I remember this particular day because he called a meeting with all the porters. The porters is the job that I had. You know what I'm saying? The porters is the people that clean up the buildings, that serve everybody else they food, you know what I'm saying, or whatnot. We keep the buildings clean and all that. So anyway, it's probably like 10 porters on first and second watch. Probably 10 porters, right? So he called all ten of us together, all the porters, get us all in one little section. And he run down, you know, the things that he trip on. He's letting us know, like, look, bro, I am not an a-hole. But I also don't have a problem with doing my job if y'all make me do it. If y'all are making wine while I am here and I smell it, I'm coming. If you are inside your cell smoking weed and I smell it, I'm coming. Point blank, period. You're asking me to come and I'm gonna come and I'm gonna do my job because you're fronting me off. So I would prefer y'all to do this when I'm not here, right? So he's running down all these different things, which it really wasn't much, but the things that he's tripping on, that he will trip on, he's letting us know. So he want to let us know, being that we are the workers out there and out all the time, and we are able to holler at everybody in the building. He want us to pass this word around, like, hey, this is going to be the repercussions if you do this and you get caught while this dude is here. We all know about him. So bam. So from that meeting, I'm sitting back. I'm not saying nothing. I'm just listening to him, right? Now, like I said, I already had heard about him. You know what I'm saying? So when he came and we're having this meeting, I'm just sitting there taking it all in, not saying that, like, okay, I see how I got to maneuver around this dude. I cannot be slipping, playing with him, or none of that. So bam, I pretty much kept my distance from him for the most part. Although I worked out there around him, I stayed away from him. Typically, I stay away from all police. The only time I deal with the police or dealt with the police if one of the other inmates asked me to go say something to them. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, small talk and all that, there was none, zero. You know what I'm saying? And come to find out, that was one of the major things that this particular CO respected about me. So, bam. Anyway, after that meeting, like I said, I keep my distance and all this and that, right? And you got dudes that will test the waters. Although the warning was there, you know what I'm saying? He let everybody know what it was from the gate, and he did not come in there tripping. For the most part, listen, man, this dude, like sitting in his office, they had their little office hooked up with their radio and their speakers and all that. So they'd go in there and chill, eat and chill, probably sleep. You know what I'm saying? They hated to be bothered. You know what I mean? So I made it my purpose to stay away from them as much as I possibly could, unless one of the other dudes sent me with a message to them, right? So bam, you still had people that wanted to test this dude. So he, okay, if that's how y'all want it, this how it's gonna be. So he starts smacking stuff, right? He starts smacking dudes left and right. And I swear to God, every time he searched, he found something. Every single time. You know what I'm saying? This dude found 1 million knives in a matter of a month. He probably found like 50 knives in a matter of a month. That's unheard of. You know what I'm saying? Or drugs or whatever. He was smacking shit, and people thought that they can actually, like, oh, I can do it. He ain't gonna smell it. I can do it, disguise it with this, and none of that was working. You feel me? None of that was working. None of it was working. I promise you. I remember one time I'm out working, and I guess he had smelled something. Somebody was in the section, one of the sections, smoking. You know what I'm saying? So him and his partner run up in there. They tell me, hey, come here, hop in the shower real quick. So I'm like, hop in the shower. He's like, yeah, right. So I'm like, so bam. He like, I'm tripping because he like, you don't smell nothing? I said, nah. He like, well, I do. You know what I'm saying? And they about to come in and let the yard out and let the workers out, which mean the sergeant and all them is finna come in. They smell this, they finna come down on me. So I'm tripping right now. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what they got to do with me? He like, well, it ain't necessarily got anything to do with you. But at the same time, I'm trying to prove a point to everybody in this building. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yeah, all right, whatever, man. So he strip searched me inside the shower. Bam. But he already knew where he was going. He already knew his initial target. You know what I'm saying? And just so happened his target was some young homies from Crips, right? From Compton. So, bam, after he strip searched me, I'm standing in there waiting. He goes straight to their cell, right? Smack him. You know what I'm saying? Luckily, they seen him strip searching me, so they was able to put up most of the stuff, and what they wasn't able to put up, they end up flushing down the toilet. You know what I'm saying? By the time he got there, things they was cool. So they didn't get cracked that time with nothing. You know what I'm saying? But he went in there and turned their cell upside down. This was just to prove a point and send a message to everybody in there. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, wow, this dude is really tripping. So bam. So now, he done pretty much set the pace on how he gonna be if, you know what I'm saying, he come across that period of feeling disrespected by anybody in there. He didn't have a problem with everything he said, he stood on it. Point blank period. So bam, I remember this one day we out working and I'm upstairs doing something and I'm looking down at them. It's him, the CO, and two of my coworkers, two porters, right? He down there talking to him. So then the police started looking through all the trash bags, right? Like desperately. So then the two porters, my two coworkers, start helping him. So I go down there. I'm like, what y'all looking for? Because I'm thinking they lost a tray or something, right? And he was like, man, the CO, he was like, man, he said, look, whatever I'm looking for mean a whole lot to me. You know what I'm saying? And I can't leave this institution until I find it. Right? So I'm like, huh? So then he raised his finger up like that and pointed to his ring finger. So I'm like, oh. I said, man, you think it's in one of these bags? He said, it got to be. Because they wear gloves. So I guess when he pulled his glove off, the ring came off inside the glove. So he balled the glove up and threw it in the trash without realizing his ring came off until it was too late. Now like I said, it's 200 people in the building. So when you accumulate all that trash out of each one of these cells, them are big old bags full of everything. Plus, on top of that, the food we done went and had to pick up and people throwing away. So it's old milk and food and all kind of stuff in these bags, right? Big old trash, big healthy bags, right? So bam, I joined in on the little search, right? Now something in my head is telling me, if you find this, you gonna be good with this dude, right? The other two, my other coworker, they going hard trying to find this, right? Because I guess they felt the same way or something. I don't know, but they trying hard. They going hard trying to find it, including the CO. So all of us down there looking through these bags, we looking hard, 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 hard. We looking hard, right? Hard. Everybody got a bag, right? Going through all this trash, old food, milk is stinking, all kind of stuff in these bags, right? Bam. I'm digging through this bag. I'm digging. I'm going through this. I'm going through that. Bam. I come across some folded up, rolled up gloves, right? So I grab the gloves. Bam. And the ring fall out in my finger. I'm like, uh-oh. So everybody stopped doing what they doing. Everybody stopped in their tracks. They looked at me. What? Everybody at the same time. What? I said, look what I got. So the CO looked. He looked at me. He said, gave him his ring. He went and cleaned it, you know what I'm saying? And nothing else was said about the ring, about nothing, right? So bam. Now, he ain't really acting no different towards me like that, you know what I'm saying? But he not tripping on me. You know what I'm saying? So bam. I remember we ended up going on lockdown. Now, mind you, I've been doing a lot of prison time. You know what I'm saying? And it was kind of, customary for you to always have a knife on you, right? From the times that I came in prison at a young age, you know what I'm saying, and growing throughout the years, like this was just something that you had to stay strapped. You know what I'm saying? So I kept a knife on me 24/7. And where I hid that knife at, I had been through a million searches. I had been in and out the hole a million times with this one knife that the police never found through all the searches. The goon squad ran up on me a million times, never found this knife. When you go to the hole, they search through all your stuff with a fine tooth comb, and they send it through a metal detector, right? I'm passing all this with this one knife. I had this one knife for years, probably for years, man, for years, right? So bam, we go on lockdown. They doing a major search throughout the whole yard. Bam. When it come time for our building to get searched, guess who is lined up to search my cell? That CO that lost his ring, right? That CO that was cracking everybody over the head, finding everything. You wasn't getting away with nothing. He found so much stuff, they made him Officer of the Month. They put this man picture with Officer of the Month all over the yard, like a little poster. I, I BS you not, right? Big old picture of him smiling with like this a little award, and it said Officer of the Month. That's how he ended up boosting up in rank. So anyway, during that lockdown, during that search, this dude going my cell, search my cell. That knife that I was going in and out the hole with and getting searched and passing a million times with, he went inside my cell and found that knife. He found the knife. Now, when you get caught with a knife with that type of contraband, it's to the hole straight up. The only time you don't go to the hole is if they find a knife and it don't have a tip on it. So then they just write you up for metal stalk, right? It's not a knife, it's just the metal. You know what I'm saying? So they'll write you up for that's contraband. But if they have a tip on it, you know what I'm saying? If it's sharp, oh, you going to the hole for deadly contraband all day. Mine's definitely had it was tipped up, a flat. You know what I'm saying? So bam, this dude find that knife. So I remember with me and the homie Hog, shout out to the homie Hog from Evil Side, that's my bro right there. Bam, we going back up to our cell after they search. Him and one of his road dogs is standing there. He just looking at me, right? Don't say nothing, just looking the whole time. So I'm like, why he looking at me like that? As soon as I get back in the cell, as soon as I seen it off the top, he left where I hid it at, sitting on my locker, right? That was the only thing on that locker. He left it right there. I'm like, oh, I tell the homie Hog, I'm like, bro, look, he found it. So we tripping, right? I done been a million searches by the goon squad, in and out the hole, didn't find nothing. This one police found my knife, right? This is how good this dude was and what he did. But anyway, although he found my knife, he didn't write me up. He didn't send me to the hole, right? Can anybody guess why? Well, the reason why, because I found his wedding band and gave him his wedding band back. I could have found it and kept it and sold that on the yard. You know what I'm saying? For a couple of hundred. Easy. You know what I'm saying? Oh yeah, we would have went on lockdown. They would have still did a big search and all that. They wouldn't have found nothing. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't do that. He'd know I could have did it, but I didn't. You know what I'm saying? Gave him his stuff back. It meant everything to him to have that wedding band. And he told me that day when he was looking for it, I'm not leaving this institution until I find it. Period. You know what I'm saying? So that's how serious he was about that wedding band. And I was the one that found it. And he was the one that found my knife. Ain't that ironic? But I didn't lock up on his wedding band. I didn't take it and go sell it on the yard. I gave it back to him. He didn't write me up or send me to the hole for that knife. You feel me? And then on top of that, like I said, and this is another thing, the police, as much as people go run to them and snitch about stuff, a lot of them hate snitches. A lot of them hate snitches. And this dude right here, and the reason why I'm not gonna say his name because he still actively work. You know what I'm saying? Like I said before, I had left that prison. You know, back when I had left it, he had became a sergeant. And I remember right, but probably a day before I left, he came to my cell and hollered at me. You know what I'm saying? Basically telling me, um, to take care. You know what I'm saying? Because he knew I was leaving and all this and that. You know what I mean? So Bam. That was the last time I seen him. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, he found my knife and didn't write me up. Thank God. And he was letting me line up fades for people, man. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, we became cool because I left them alone. And I never went to them and snitched about nothing. That's what they respected. You know what I'm saying? So you have police that's like that, man. You know what I'm saying? That actually gain your respect. You know what I'm saying? And that one gained mine. You know what I mean? But yeah, I just wanted to bring y'all that story, man. Shout out to everybody that came and sat with us. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go ahead and wrap this thing up and let y'all get back to y'all day. Love and appreciate you all, man. Thank you again. Nothing but love and respect to you all. To the next time we meet at this round table, triple gang.